Hello, welcome to my channel. It's good to have you here. My name is Gemma. I am a criminologist and a mother. I am Gematria, so welcome to Gematria. This is an understanding that I'm going to bring to you, okay, as a public service, okay, to this plane, so that you can understand how to digest Christianity and Judaism, okay? So this is going to be about Christianity mainly, but I'm going to bring in Judaism. I'm going to bring in the faults because I understand that sometimes we argue too much about religion and we don't understand the bigger picture. So as individuals, you can fight with each other a lot about something, but in a higher understanding that can be brought to you, then we'll be able to understand that this is a reality a lot of people can get mixed up in. So we bog ourselves down with things like disadvantages within our society, and it stops us from evolving as a humanity, okay? So let's go in for one straight away. So we have Jesus. Let's talk about Jesus, okay? So I'm going to do this because I think it's important just to see it from maybe, because I'm not an atheist, okay? So let's just see it from my point of view, because I'm not fully into those doctrines, and there's a reason, and I'm going to do it now, okay? So I've said this before, but Christianity, okay, sits there, right? So it's in Tiferet, beauty. That's where they like to think they sit, okay? So wisdom would probably be a higher rise, okay? I'm just explaining it to you because this is the Judean, right? So they say it's a higher rise because they acquired logic in their doctrines, okay? So it becomes a higher rise because they've adopted things from culture and applied it, okay? Not ideals, like what we want to look like and stuff, but the way of the world. So it becomes a higher rise from Christianity, okay? But I'm gonna explain something that makes it a trap, okay? So we have to understand, okay, I'm not slagging you all off, okay? I love you all, okay? There's a reason, and it's because Christianity, and then you got Judaism, which is wisdom, okay? So they're all full of wisdom. These are the Hierophants, okay? This is a Hierophant energy. So technically they should all be there, but they're not. So why not? And a lot of them aren't there either, okay? Only when they're doing the job properly are they there, right? And it goes for them as well. So, but there is a fallacy in their work, but through wisdom you understand that it stops us. And that's the reason why I'm going to say what I'm going to say, because it stops us from understanding the role of this position, okay? So it stops us from rising sometimes. The path of Judaism can stop us from rising, and the path of Christianity can also stop us from rising, okay? I'm not being horrible, okay? I'm just trying to get you to understand other people's narratives, so then you can come together as a united nation, okay? A united nation, not them or anyone else, but just you as individuals, okay? Because they can put words on stuff and it don't mean anything. Sometimes it can be taken out. This is why there are things that are in our society still, that's still in our society, that is wrong, okay? So this is going to explain some things, and it's going to make everybody rethink, hopefully, why they're practicing and what they're practicing. Because if you just go in there, I mean, I've been in the Christian, I've been in some of them, and I just feel threatened by the priests, okay? This has happened to me when I was a little girl as well. I was about 7, right? So I was about a bit older than that, maybe about 8 or 9, right? You have to go in there for Arbs Day and stuff. but we was forced. Okay, so I was forced to go there by school. So they obviously are connected as well. So let's just get back to this. So I wanted to make a point about Jesus and the conflict that's going on right now about a Jesus energy. Now, I can understand the symbolism, like I've said, okay, and I've explained this already, alright? You walk into there, you see a mum and a baby, and she's holding the baby. Sometimes she's breastfeeding it. So we can even go through Egyptian mythology and talk about Isis, okay? Breastfeeding a baby. This is showing a matriarchal energy, right? So, as a woman, and I am a woman fully, then you're going to understand that obviously I've experienced motherhood. I know what it's like, and I think that I am good to be able to explain this, and this is why. Because when I walked in there and I saw Jesus on a cross, I was terrified, because Mary and Jesus she was holding the baby, but then on the other side you've got a cross. Now this doesn't seem right to me, because why would Jesus be on a cross if he's being sacrificed for good things? Beauty, bringing beauty in the world. This is why I say he's there, okay? So he brings beauty in the world, right? And there's a reason why he's there, and it's because he was giving spiritual, he was healing people spiritually, okay? So this is a good thing, okay? That he was doing that. It represents beauty, because he's sharing love to heal you with beauty, okay? Beautiful, okay? So why do you sacrifice this man and put him on a cross for being a saviour, and then honour the death of it? Why do that? It doesn't make any sense. It's quite sad that the narrative still played out today, okay? This is why I think it's a trap. Because why would you hurt somebody who is saving somebody? He's risen, now he's on a cross. So in understanding that, he's there, isn't he? And he's put him there, so he's turned him upside down, because why is that there when that's meant to be sort of a closer to the brow? So you're thinking, this is where your ideas come from, darkness, don't they? Right? So why did you put him on a cross there like that? It doesn't make any sense if he's a saviour. And it's almost like a rhetoric, to me, to show that it's okay to sacrifice people sometimes who are trying to save people, or it's a consequence for trying to save something, to understand something in the world is a consequence and a fall down back, and then a reminder you are not allowed to do this, which is sad, because it's almost a consequence for helping people and healing people at this stage. So he realised he could do these things and began to rise. So this would end up being a Jewish connotation. So let's get into that, because why at that stage, if he's healed people at that stage, why would he be your sacrifice? Okay, because he's done something wrong. Okay, so in the Jewish Bible, it's nothing in there. There's no Jesus. Okay, but the Christians say that the Jewish people did that to him, which is interesting. So this leaves conflict between two religions, okay, straight away, even though his name's not in that book, and the Jewish have always said that they don't ascribe to it, right? So the Jewish don't ascribe to it, and the reason is because once you rise to there in aspects of wisdom, the Jewish people would argue, okay, that you shouldn't do that to people, and instead we should honour those people, and he probably did something wrong, and that's why he's on there. So that would be like a highlight of what actually means when it comes to a sacrifice, because he sacrificed himself because he's done something wrong, not in the eyes of an opinion, but in the eyes of the law, so he's probably done something like really bad. So this is how I would connect this, just under symbolism. If you hurt that woman and that child, you will be a sacrifice, because you shouldn't be doing that. Okay? So why honor in Jesus something, okay, that there's a narrative of conflict, to then understand the Jewish who argue that he shouldn't have been on there if he was a saviour, because they agree with that. Okay? Jewish people would agree that if he did something wrong, he should be sacrificed. You have the same ideologies, but when you read a lot, read, this is the same thing as other people, right? If you read all the time, and you're just reading this, and it's not true, you're going to be confused. So you're just going to fall back down here, and be like, I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea. It's all too confusing for me, because the son was it's a representation of that child, okay? But through the wisdom, it's not an aspect of sacrifice, okay? We have to understand, so we can do a full circle again, okay? Back here. So he's provided, so he's there, so say Jesus is here in the Christian. He's provided a resource to humanity, and he's given wisdom to the world, okay? What did he do? He went all the way up to there. He already did it, but then he was like, I'm going to teach everybody else, and he started doing it, right? So the knowledge was given, okay? But then some people understood it, but some people didn't like it, and that's why he was sacrificed, okay? Because this here, Gavura. So he understood how he could do it. Like, it's basically Scientology. It's Christian Science, being able to heal people like spontaneously and things like this. It's Christian Science. So it's a rise to here, and then that's like a Jewish position full of wisdom, okay? And he's like trying to pass that knowledge on to then, he's already gone there, but he's giving you it. I know. He's sharing his wisdom with I know, I'm telling you, and then I'm bringing you to understand. But then other people are trying to understand him but can't, and he's being unjustified for it. Okay, so that's the Christian one. And the point is because some people are going to accept him for who he is, but if it's seen that he's bad, then they're not going to accept him, are they, if he's done something wrong? So the narrative is, I legitimately can see why you would try and help the person who is, like, stick up for the person who's being sacrificed, okay? This is more like this energy, so we're only halfway up. So if you can understand that legitimately, like, Jesus was actually sacrificed and he shouldn't have been, why are we portraying that in a doctrine? And like the fact that it's up there in an honour, we're honouring sacrificing innocent people because we want their knowledge, we want their understanding, and then we're just going to take it, okay? So this is why it's in the form of a Jesus, okay? But in the Jewish scripts, he's done something wrong. It's a trap, okay? Because they're making you argue with them, so you can't rise to there, okay? So I'm not saying it's all right, because I don't even agree with a lot of stuff that's in the Torah, for example, because it says Torah is a Torah, which is their Bible, okay? In the Catechism it's Bible. This one is a Torah, but it's your energy field, it's your body. That's what that relates to in a spirit, in a universal, I think it's Reiki and stuff like that, in a universal context. And you see that this happens, right? So this is why I wouldn't subscribe to stuff, right? So we can talk about the Jew, like I said, them walking in deserted land. So it's almost like it's been programmed to accept a fall. Okay, so no offense to the Jewish people, but I'm gonna say it. It's almost like you're accepting a fall within that position at all times. It's almost like gaining wisdom is a process of being an aspect of a sacrifice. Okay, so let me just get into this. The sacrifice energy of that Jesus, and then the Torah saying you are going to deserted lands, is an aspect of accepting a sacrifice to just fall down again, or to understand and go back down. You're not allowed up here. You're not allowed to have this energy. It's a sad position to push people into, because it's almost like honouring this. You're honouring the deserted lands. You're honouring Rebecca for going to the deserted lands. Does Rebecca go to the deserted lands when she's passed away? Are you saying you go back down again in that doctrine into deserted lands? Or are you actually going to understand that once you've got up here, you already did all that and you're just trying to help other people? That's what the rabbis do as well. Okay, this is the Hierophant energy. So they're the ones that are bringing the grace back in to help everybody come to here. So that's where he is. Okay, he's taking you there, for example, or in an aspect of not Christianity, but just understanding that we all go through this process, because this is kind of a understanding that will help people from out of the traps of religion. Okay, about thinking I can't help anyone because I can't help anyone because I'm going to get in trouble if I help somebody. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't be becoming that sacrifice. That's not what that's not what an aspect of a high rise is about. Okay, so you shouldn't be that sacrifice because you're helping people. Okay, but if you're lying about it, if you're doing this at an inverted state, bringing wisdom like what? Child molesters and stuff like this. If you're bringing that wisdom, that's not wisdom. That's pain and suffering. That's down here. You're not even here. You're in inverted states and gone that way. Right? You push them there as well. So you've all gone there to feel pain. So this is the reality. We need to sort of understand that the religions are changed to fit narrative at time. For example, the culture of the Muslims, they wear burqas, okay? Now, I'm going to say this is spiritual protection. This has nothing to do with Muslims. This, to me, is a form of spiritual protection. When I wear a burqa, it's because I'm wearing it because I want to be spiritually protected. White women used to. Irish women used to. Okay? It's not far away from us. It's not too far away from us, okay? It might not have been in our time, but if you look back at pictures, if they let us, on AI, whatever. If they did, right? As old antique photos, you'll see them got women with wraps over their heads, especially in Victorian times, right? The reality is that through understanding, okay, so you can even use that because they also have very similar things in their doctrines. But if you can understand, because a lot of understanding needs to come from that religion, because it's got everything in it. Right, and no offence, it's got filth in it as well. Like, for example, child labour, child, like, you step on the child to rise, stuff like this. When it's not like that, it's school. And that's in the Indian one as well, the Sikh, where she stands on the child to rise. I'm thinking, you don't stand on that child to rise. That's in opposition to what a true matriarchal energy is all about, and I'm absolutely upset about that. You all honour a child down while a woman rises. That's not fair, right? I'm disgusted with it, right? They say, oh, it's not a child. I'm like, well, it looks small enough to be one, doesn't it? What's the name? Is it that statue where she's like literally doing a bird? I don't know. She's got her arms in the air and she's stood on. Is it Shiva? Something like that. Yeah, that one. Why is she sat on a child? You don't do that, okay? So understand Catholicism a little bit, because there's a Mary and a Jesus, right? And this is it. That's all he took from it. He took that from the Freemasons, right? Understand, because there's pretty things in there, but then there's a deeper reason why it's taking place. But it reflects our humanity. It reflects our systems that are in place today. It reflects on how our culture turns as a narrative. It reflects everything. And so let's get back to understanding that we have to understand this. At this stage, the Muslims all sit there, but they have to take the highest rise. They're like the same with the Jews. They're taking the highest rises. What for? They're not going up here because the Torah is not allowing them to. The Bible isn't allowing them to. The Quran can sometimes stop us because it's to fear. So, like, I understand the Muslims in their doctrines, because it's kind of a fear. So I've read quite a lot of pages actually of it, and it's an aspect of understanding. But that's what I got from it, understanding, because it pushed me down here. So I was just like, hang on a minute, we've got to fear God. Fear God? Who's God? Fear him. And then it says it in there in the Christian book sometimes, and it also says it in that. So it's a show. It's a show. It's like a program to me, because I'm Aquarius, a lot Aquarius. Inside wheel, I have everything in Aquarius. I'm a massive stallion there, right? It's where I came and it's where I'm going back, right? So it's just an idea, and they're just ideas. But to me, if I look at it like a program, like a software or something like this, what are we programming in, right? So it shows aspects of fear in God, so it just pulls them down. And this one does as well, the Jewish, but it pulls you down back to fear. And then we've got the resource again, so you can do this, or you do this a lot. And then obviously the Muslims, they do this a lot. They go all the way down sometimes because they fear to do things. Okay, so they do it out of fear rather than out of love. Where they're trying to do it out of love, they're doing it out of fear. But they're doing it as well because there's deserted lands in there. There's a lot of things in these books that you want people to accept in their Torah fields. So it's not correct. And especially when you call it a Torah and then a deserted land. I don't understand that. It makes me sad. Okay? Almost like it's inevitable and it shouldn't be. Okay? Just because it didn't happen to you, it don't mean it didn't happen to the Freemasonry goddess Gematria plane, right? Right? So, in an aspect of understanding, because it's happened to others, are we supposed to protect our children, or are we standing on top of them? Are we standing on them? Because that Shiva is standing on her. Now, to me, you've got your wires crossed. What is it? A little